Ta-da! Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Julia and today I'm doing a highly requested video. I'm gonna talk about how I shoot my videos. I have partnered today with Skillshare again. That is an online community for learning and has over 25,000 classes online for filmmaking, design, business, you name it. I partnered with them before in my previous how I color grade my videos, and Skillshare is just great for creators. And I also want to hook you guys up with 2 months of free unlimited access to all their classes if you click the link down below, and afterwards it's just $10 a month. But anyways, especially after my Choose Your Fighter lookbook, a lot of you guys asked how I shoot it, and that was shot through green screen, and studio setup can be quite difficult if you don't know the basics. So I found this great studio light setup course that taught me so much about studio light, some that I already knew of, but some tips and tricks that I hadn't thought of, and it has really amplified my workflow when I shoot. And of course, as you may know, I don't only shoot in studios, but if I don't shoot with technical like setups and lights and all that, I just do it outside with natural lighting, so it's not as difficult or technical. So I figured that showing you guys how I shoot in the studio would be the most informative way for you guys to learn more about how to make videos. And before you shoot, of course, you need to have a concept in mind. You may want to create a mood board if you are shooting with other people so that everyone in your team will have the same idea in mind. And I usually just look for inspiration through Instagram, Pinterest, and make a mood board on Keynote. It doesn't have to be complex at all, just some simple ideas put together. Maybe you want a storyboard if you're making something with a storyline. So now for the lighting, it actually looks like this. So yeah, as you can see, this is my studio setup. So here I have my microphone, and then here I have 2 lights for the subject, which is me. And I'm using these shields to make sure that the light doesn't affect the light that's already for the backdrop, where I have 2 lights and you want to direct them so that it creates an even lighting for the entire wall. And I also have my bounce light here, so this will basically light up the entire room but won't directly affect the light that's already on me, but just make the entire frame more brighter. And bouncing light is something that I really prefer to do. This will create a more even and natural looking light on your face, which is definitely more flattering. And then this is some budget ass version of reflector. It kind of bounces some light upwards because I'm not using any lights down here, and that could also be a simple way to control the light that you have, is to use a reflector as well. And then you also want to place yourself further away from the backdrop so that you don't create any unnecessary shadows, because as you can see, if I go further back towards the wall, my body will create shadows on the wall, and that is not so cute. There's plenty of ways how you can set up lighting for your backdrop, but if you're using green screen, something that's key is that you want to have the green color as even as possible, because this will just make it so much easier to remove all the green color later when you edit. But let's say you're shooting with a paper backdrop, well, then there's plenty of ways where you can make it a bit more interesting than just having an even light setup. So you can even have a light behind you that's directed towards the wall to create a vignette looking backdrop. And then for the lights for the subject, so depending on what look you're going for, you might want to use 1 light or 2 lights, maybe even 3. But now, for example, I'm having a quite even and soft light on my face, but let's say I want to create more shadows in my face, I could use a light that's higher up and directed downwards towards my face to create some shadows that could also be really flattering. As I said, this really depends on what look you're going for, and the Skillshare class that I mentioned has some great tips and tricks for that. So that is the basis of my studio setup. You don't need to have a high production light studio or anything expensive. It's just use what you got and do the most with it. But okay, now we've covered all the setup for the studio, but I guess now it's just shoot away. So you can use different angles with your camera, you can use longer or shorter lenses for different looks, you can play with props as I did in the Choose Your Fighter, where I had my rotary board. Play around as much as you can, and yeah, just have fun with it. And I just remove all the green screen with a keyer that's in your editing program, and the rest is just the same techniques that I use when I edit normally. But yeah, here's some behind the scenes footage of my Choose Your Fighter.
too shy for me. You are too kind for me. You don't ever lie to me, so you can't fly away with me. What I do to deserve you? What I do to deserve you? What I do?
Gör det lite långsammare, alltså inte för snabbt utan mindre frekvent. Ja, typ sådär.
And you can check out my previous how I edit my videos and how I color grade for more of the post-production stuff. But yeah, I really hope you guys liked this video and that you learned something from it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
You are too shy for me.